Hello. Hi. We're streaming live from all the different things, different faces, different places. Literally, this is not usual. We don't do this on this channel. Hi, Doug, the face.
Hello,
producer Doug. He's this is the big reveal. Actually, it's not, dude. You're always on this channel.
That's true. Yeah.
If anybody watches any of my race car content, they see.
I've never had a live face before.
You've never been live and able to talk to the people.
That's true. They should start a pool in the chat to over under on how long it is before I pick my nose or my ear or
yawn
or something. Yeah, well, yawning is a given.
Right in the middle of talking. So this is the last mover mailbag of the year, last video of the year. Do what? I
said hi to the chat. They're all saying hi to me.
Last one of the year, and I figured instead of doing a video, because I'm lazy, of a year in review, we would just talk about it. Because Doug's been there through the whole thing, all of 2024. He knows it. We would chat about it. And then I've got some packages, although this one, I'm a little mad about, because it says, ship to Gonky Mike Tyson, which is not me. But they sent it to me. So I had to go stand in line in the post office for this. And I'm tempted to open it, but I'm not sure. And Doug is doing producer things while he's still on camera. So with his clacky keyboard.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's
you know, you can talk. Like, you're not producing now. You actually are. You can just wait and then talk to the chat. It's a different concept. Yeah,
I don't want to interrupt.
Okay, so what were you doing? What were you answering? What did they ask?
Somebody said that's a nice airplane collection. That's the Naval Aviation Museum in Pensacola.
Okay,
and that particular airplane is a Curtiss NC-4, which was the first airplane to cross the Atlantic, and it was made in my hometown.
Perfect. So we have got people from every
holy crap, yeah,
social media platform that I have. We've got Facebook, which is John, which I'm not sure about this font now.
It's a little
much. I might have to go back and change that.
A little extra
style. Let's see. What is something readable? Not that. There we go. John says, it's hard to believe another year has gone by so fast. 2024 was interesting to say the least. I thank you, Mover, and all the others for keeping us entertained and informed, most of all inspired. Thank you for being a part of this journey.
Yeah, John's pretty inspirational on his own.
Yeah, no kidding. Every time. We got Hawkeye on Twitch. So, hey, Hawkeye, what's going on? We've got X, Tuna Can. I hope that's how you say that. We got Plexi. We got Laura from the subscriber side of the house. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Bob. All the green ones. Zardra, thank you so much. So, and then Thag. We were talking to you guys last night about how to kill bad guys in Ready or Not. So, dude, it's been a year. I'm so part of the reason I wanted to do it this way is because I thought about the last 2 years that I've done these, and I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. I had just gotten my subscription to audio, the music thing, and I put some really sad music to one of them, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is too ho hum." Last year, I know would have been a tough one because in 2023, it was like this up and down, topsy-turvy. They were trying to kick me out of the military pretty much, or at least go into the IRR, which is, it's hard to get back from that. I lost the boys, which was really hard or difficult. And it was the bottom of a long slide because in 2021, that's when I had the issues with, fighting my own mind. And I talked about that. You remember that? Dude, that was
a big deal.
A battle. 2022 was the last flight in the T-38. And that started the military struggles right after that. And so 2023 was kind of like, okay, let's hope this is rock bottom. And 2024, dude, it started out really good. The first thing was the military side because Newsweek, unconventional, I talked to Naveed, and they published a thing about our Finney flight. You remember that video?
Yeah, that video particularly.
Yeah, and that kind of kicked off this stretch of I couldn't believe what was going on.
Pentagon.
Yeah, right. From there, so the Air Force Reserve did a feature about me and Luna, and they called it the Profiles in Leadership, and they put my like 7-foot tall poster or whatever. I've never actually seen it in person, of me in the Pentagon talking about all the good work. And it even mentions the YouTube channel and all that stuff, which was such a contrast that I almost was like this, battered housewife where I'm like, I like a kick puppy. Like, are you sure? Is that really?
Learned helplessness is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was wild the way that started out. And then not too long after that, finally got approval to start flying for Harrison County. And that was a process by itself. I'd been wanting to fly with those guys, not just as a vlogger, but like actually fly for them for a while. I didn't start flying with them until much later, but at least it got approved fairly early on. I think the only disappointing part at the beginning of last year is probably the same thing at the beginning of this year was we made another push for ARCA to go racing. And you're muted, by the way, in case you're trying to talk.
No, I was not. I was trying to find an online representation of the Profiles in Leadership picture, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, but, well, I knew you wouldn't do it, so I was going to do it.
But ARCA, that was disappointing because I thought, so when we did the test in 2022, at least, I mean, you were there, Doug. Was it not our opinion, I guess, the takeaway that I was approved if I could find sponsors?
That was what I got out of it.
Like, it seemed like it was hey, if you can figure it out, you can do it.
Yeah, and it was clearly successful too. I mean, it wasn't like it was ambiguous. Oh, well, you sort of did okay. I mean, you hit all the hit all the marks.
Bobby was impressed. He went and had that private meeting in the trailer with the ARCA folks, and they came out and he's like, do you really want to do this? And I thought that was it. And we had a guy who used to work for Roush Fenway Racing, and he was like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you find sponsors. And we were in the 11th hour thinking this might happen. This might really happen. And we couldn't put the sponsorship together, which was fine. But I was like, okay, no big deal. Then the airline called and they said, hey, you either quit or you come back. Your leave of absence is over.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I was able to come back to the 787. And so I spent that summer doing 787 upgrade, which was awesome because I got to bring Luna. I went and got a separate hotel. Having Luna with me the whole time was amazing. The daycare up there, WAG Hotels, I cannot speak highly enough about that hotel, the doggy daycare place, because their hours were great. They were so accommodating to us. They took good care of Luna. Yeah, she loved going there. I mean,
being able to find something like that out of town on that kind of notice with that kind of quality.
Yeah. And she's the most important thing in the world to me. So having that option was incredible. And I enjoyed learning the 787 because it's a cool airplane. It's got a HUD. It's better. It fixes everything I hated about the 737. It really does. It was just fun. And this year we were continuing on the Mover and Gonky show. We moved it to a single channel, took it off of this channel because we realized that's what was affecting the analytics here, which is kind of disappointing, but I'll never understand how YouTube works. And then, came back, started flying, actually started the transition program with the OH-58 channel. We put out the thing about the OH-6 and the channel stepped up. We actually had people reach out, and we have a plan to get it fixed now. The OH-6 will be fixed next year, and we'll come back and it will fly again.
That'll make a good piece of content all by itself. That whole story,
yeah.
when you have all the pieces to put together.
Hell yeah! And so that was great. And then I came back from training, and I'm like, hey, I've actually got enough. I can self-fund ARCA. I don't need this anymore. And unfortunately, I called Bobby and I said, hey, I'm ready. He's like, whoa, you might want to talk to ARCA. I'm like, what do you mean I need to talk to ARCA? So he called them and they said, no, no, he doesn't have enough experience. He's like, what kind of experience? He's got a lot of experience. He's like, well, he doesn't, not the right kind. And so I didn't hear much from him for a while. And I was like, okay, let me try a different team. So I tried another team, and they went, same thing, and they said, ARCA had already said no, because I don't have enough short track experience. I'm like, short track experience? What kind? And there was this wild plan to go get 2 races at the end of the year. And I'm like, dude, there's just, with the airline schedule and stuff, like going to California, flying across the country to go sit in somebody else's car for a couple laps. It just didn't make any sense.
That was going to make it not fun.
Yeah. And then Bobby like reattacked because I had done some more Battle Scarred Motorsports, which, by the way, I'm wearing my Battle Scarred Motorsports shirt, finally came in. If you guys are looking for an end of the year tax deduction, battlescarred.org is a great place for that. They are a veteran charity, nonprofit charity. I don't know which the difference is on that one, but they don't make any money. They put veterans in race cars, part of adrenaline therapy, which I've done with them. We did the March race or April race we did with them in New Orleans, which was lemons, and then we did MSR Houston, which, dude, it's just fun. It's fun to be able to take, you and Luna and go to the track and hang out with those guys. And it's a lot of, it's really cool. But anyway, the ARCA thing, I had those extra races and they said no. It's like, okay. And then that's actually a couple weeks ago, because a couple weeks ago they told Bobby no. I said, okay, fine. Bought a Corvette instead, because I'm like, well, I'm going to get something. So I got the Z06. Taxes are going up next year. So I was like, now is the time. And I'd always wanted one, the new Z06s. I love that car. Had some check engine light problems, but they've all gone away.
Those are a cool car.
Yeah. And the ARCA emailed me, and I was like, I was after I bought the car, and I saw the subject, and I'm like, please don't tell me the answer is yes all of a sudden, because now I don't have any money for it. Like everything I thought, I was like, okay, I'm burning a hole in my pocket, bought this. And the guy emails me and he says, just so you know, just to clarify, you are not able to do Daytona. If you'd like, you can do the test. And I'm like, okay. Which, by the way, Daytona's on my birthday next year, which is would have been cool.
That would have been especially neat.
So I emailed the guy and I said, okay, how can I make this happen? What experience do I need? And he's like, well, first, for starters, that's how the email goes. It goes, well, for starters, we'd like to see more short track experience. And I'm getting frustrated now, because I'm like, okay, dude, forgive me if I'm direct, but I'm a fighter pilot and been flying jets my whole life. And I'm around people that are direct, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. Give me a roadmap specifically that I can do to be in a car in Daytona. Don't tell me, for starters, do a race and we'll see. Tell me how many races, how many laps, what position I need to finish. What's the criteria for me to move on? And of course, it's crickets. I'm going to follow up with them next year, which is next week. I'm going to follow up with them on Monday and say, hey, because I want to hold their feet to the fire on this, because I get it. They've got standards, although I've seen some of the people that race, and they have standards, but it seems very arbitrary, because if you go in the rule book, there's no, I mean, Doug, I copied and pasted the rule book page. What does it say? I mean, I've done everything I need to do to race Daytona.
Yeah, it says, it has specifics, but it also has that whole subjective, we can do what we want, when we want, to whom we want piece. So, yeah,
and I get that. That's their thing. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to make up as you go, tell me what the rules are. Give me a criteria. Don't just tell me, well, do a race and we'll see. Because race where? Where would you like me to race? If I go take a car to Watkins Glen, does that count? And I asked that question too. Yeah, and then. So that's not completely dead. It's just Daytona's dead for sure.
For this
year, it's still a long-term goal, because, dude, I love that. And Doug, when we did that test, it's funny because when we did the test, we had this conversation driving back, and I'm like, okay, was that just a fun thing I did one time, or is this going to be a thing?
Yeah.
And I didn't have an answer. I really didn't, Do you remember us having an answer back then?
Nope.
Yeah.
We agreed, if it needs to be a really cool thing that was a one-off, okay. But
yeah. And it was a lot. I mean, I get it. I'm not the next, young race car driver. So, there's no chance of me being a Petty or an Earnhardt or anything like that. But it could be fun. It could be something that's just one more thing. I was thinking the other day, I'm like, what I could do that would be fun is just write either a short story or a novella or something, and take every detail and make it accurate, except the difference being I actually go race.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
Like make a story about a fighter pilot that does that, that like verbatim up to the point that I didn't race, and then the rest is fiction.
Then you get to make up a good race.
Yeah. Then I get to make up a good race. So that's the racing side of things. Obviously, my friends at Battle Scar Motorsports, Brian is out in the chat right now. Big fans of those guys. I'm looking forward to racing. We are going to race Daytona, I hope, next year, and New Orleans next year. So those are two races I'm really looking for. I love the road course at Daytona. That was so much fun. Other than the inhalation sickness that I got from the gas fumes getting into the cockpit into my face, that was a lot of fun.
I've actually never driven that one in real life. I've driven it in iRacing, but I've only ever prepped cars for it in real life.
Well. Brian says yes and yes. So
what's the counter? Manchester, Liverpool,
yeah. If you say something, you Liverpool before you say it, and then that way. So on that note, really cool thing, and it wasn't intended to be racing, but it kind of is, because tonight you and I are going to do Twitch. So if you're not following me on Twitch, twitch.tv/movercwl, I have been avoiding iRacing since all this ARCA stuff happened, because I didn't want to be sad, right? I didn't want to be sad. I didn't want to miss it. I didn't want to think, how it should be or whatever. But Mark over at DOF Reality, which I realized I've been saying that wrong. It's not DOF, it's DOF. DOF Reality reached out after a DCS video, and he's like, hey, what do you think about motion? I was like, I think motion's pretty cool. He's like, well, do you want to try motion? I said, I would like to try motion. And so those folks hooked me up. And Doug, thank you for helping me set this thing up.
Yeah, that was an experience.
Yeah. And so I now have a motion platform that I do intend, because now that ARCA is kind of dead for now. It's funny. I didn't understand when I first started this journey back in 2018. Everybody wanted me to do DCS, and I wasn't really all that interested. I didn't have a computer for it. I didn't have anything for it. I went and played at the Bananimals house, and
that seems like so long ago,
dude. It really was. Doug, you were there.
Yeah.
I went, and it was okay, whatever. And then I went back and tried it in VR, and that was pretty cool. And the next thing I know, I have a laptop that can play it. And next thing I know, I've got a system. And next thing I know, I've got a motion sim. And at the time, I did not understand kind of any of it, because I'd been there and done that. And I didn't want to be that, I wanted to be the real life, not the virtual life. But the more I get into it, the more I understand now that it allows you to do things that you could not otherwise do, even if you've already done it. And I think that's the cool part, like the racing part, especially. Like, okay, I might not go race in Daytona for real, but I can still go do this and have some semblance of fun, and maybe not be, breaking the bank or myself when I crash, although it may break me.
That's probably closer to what most other people are getting out of it too. I mean, for me, I'm never going to fly. Well, I'm just saying never, but I'm very unlikely to fly a helicopter myself in real life, and I'm extremely unlikely to fly a hind. Yeah. But I can go fly a hind whenever I want now, and I know all the switchology, and it feels like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, yeah. So it's cool, and with the DOF system, like we've got it set up to do F-16, F-18,
Hung everything in the house off that sucker.
Yeah, it's got all the different setups. So looking forward to doing that. As soon as I need to get a collective. That's the only thing it's missing to make it like do everything, is some kind of standalone collective. I've got the PFT, the Pro Flight Trainer Puma X, but I cannot get it with the seat and stuff. It's awkward. It doesn't work in there.
If it was by itself, it would work, but making that fit with all the other things that you want to fit it's a big ask.
Yeah. All right. Been yammering for a bit. Let's see what else everybody says. Conrad's a new member. Welcome, Conrad. Conrad with the Viper. Oh, I'm jealous, dude. I'm jealous. Gundam Blade says, Happy New Year, Mover, Doug, and Luna. Luna was in here. I don't know. Actually, she's right there. But I can't get the Luna cam working. Which figures. Yeah, it says browser cannot access your devices. Perfect.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Gundam Blade.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Garrett says, hey guys, Happy New Year. Interviewing tips. I'm doing a camera interview of an AH-1Z and UH-1 pilot, crew chief from USMC HMLA 167. I'm getting a private tour of both aircraft, JB Mubarak. So is camera interview for a channel? Here's what I'll say. It doesn't matter what it's for. When I interview people, I have broad questions. I try to keep it short, and I talk as little as possible. And that's what works.
Remember who the interview is focusing on.
Right. Your stories don't matter when it comes to interviewing people unless you need it to push along the narrative. Now, some people are very easy to interview, i.e. we ask 3 questions in 2 hours and it fills up the whole 2 hours. Some people are very difficult to interview in that we say, how did you get into flying? And you said, well, I got my license. What else you got? You know, those are tougher people to interview. However, as long as you keep it flowing and keep it moving, you can always fix it in post. Live interviews are tough. John says, if you write a novella, I'll translate it into Spanish for you and we can sell it to Univision. There you go. What is Days of Thunder in Spanish? RKW says,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Everything dramatic sounds better in Spanish.
Yeah, a lot of pro racers sim to keep sharp. Yeah, and that's true. And they use motion. Bob says, what is a bananimal? That was his username, right?
Yeah, he's big in the or was at that time big in the DCS community. He had an amazing setup,
building skins and stuff. I imagine what he has now. Wicked Spider Black says, Happy New Year's, gents. To new page, guys. Thank you. So I got physical mail, which this is kind of, so it's a card from China. And it says, Dear Mover, this time I really sent a Thai Oz postcard in Thai-O postcard in Thai-O post office in Lantau Island. It is nice to visit this place and wish you all well from Hong Kong, Eric Kwong.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. It's cool to know that people from all over the world are watching. Like, it always surprises me that anybody watches.
It's 450 people watching this, man.
I know. It's not like when Wombat's on. Wombat, it would be
there's 1,200.
Yeah. Amazing. This is okay. So this is to Mover. This is 13 September. Oh, this actually. So it's funny because the postcard arrived before this, and this is dated a month earlier. So it says, thanks for all your work. I have continued to view your channel on YouTube plus the Gonky and Mover show. Hold on now. It's the Mover and Gonky show. I'm not able to say a lot of word in front of all audience, but I would like to express my thanks on providing some very content on the view of the Viper and Hornet. It's kind of bad that now using a letter to send to USA, EU, and many other places that require to fill out an e-custom declaration for even ordinary airmail and surface mail, require to print out label at Hong Kong post office, fill out the e-form, use the iPostal kiosk, find ways to print out that label. Maybe we need to get used to it. For future, with no future optical fiber cable connectivity, Western Europe, US, Canada, with Russia, China, Maybe the only way to send you by post office, air, and surface, old-fashioned way. Anyway, wish you, as well as Gonky and Wombat, Doug, very happy Christmas and New Year holiday. Eric. Wow. It's amazing.
When you made your remark about people tuning in from all over the world, a bunch of people in chat said where they were from. It's pretty cool. I started
and then he sent a Christmas card. That's a very nice.
Where was that one from?
Hong Kong. Same guy.
Okay, same guy. All right.
All right. So here we go. John says, Days of Thunder. You do it.
Dias de Trueno? Are there regular N's in Spanish, or are they all tildes? Trueno?
Iron Man's from Australia. I watched the Australian New Year this morning at 7 a.m.
Is that the first one?
Yeah. It'll be the only one I watch. I've set up in the room like a field of white noise. Gotcha. Like I got as many fans as I could because I know it's going to be Fallujah outside my house until about 1 a.m. So I'm trying to get a strategy to keep Luna calm, keep me calm, more me than her. Good evening from South Africa, says Vic. Leon from Israel. Wow. Okay, cool. Sermon says from the Netherlands.
All right, I'm not going to star all of them.
Rich is my hero from UK. Hamstickle from the UK. All right, back to the letters here. I don't know. Should I open the one that's going to Gonky? Is that a federal crime? They sent it to my mailbox. He has his own mailbox, by the way.
His name's on the show. Your name's on the show. I think that makes it okay.
Not this show.
Right.
It's a different show.
The show they sent it to.
The two cannot. Happy 2020. Hope 2025 is great. Is a great year for you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hope to see you at Oshkosh 25. Cameron, Cindy, and Hannah. Wow. You know what would be cool? If I had $1 million, I need more than that. But if let's say I got a whole bunch of money, I want Airwolf, dude. I want to do what Kevin LaRosa did and go to air shows.
You're gonna fly that to Wisconsin?
Fly Airwolf. Yeah, I would fly Airwolf to Wisconsin and air shows and do static displays. Like that is my dream with Luna in the back. That's what I want to do in 2020.
You need one of those 185 knot Rotax Mustangs.
No. No, I need a Bell 222, and I need to make it look like Airwolf. Or, maybe we make a new Airwolf series, and I fly that everywhere. Speaking of Luna, she just showed up. I can't show you because the camera's not working. She's trying to see if there's any mail for her in the form of Tritos. I'm sorry, baby. She's mean mugging it. It's got puppies on it, though.
Excellent.
Here you go. And this says, CW Lemoyne, best wishes. Merry Christmas, CW. Sending a note as usual to let you know you're my thoughts and prayers. You have amazing friends in TR Matson and your Gonky and others. Surround yourself with people of faith and see God's love in action. Blessings to you and Luna during the holidays and years to come. Respectfully, CC. Thanks, CC. It's very nice of you. And what are we going to do? Are we opening this?
Let's see.
No, the Hind would not be a good Airwolf. I'm going to end up stabbing myself on live TV.
Is this appropriate?
Oh. For legal reasons, this is a joke. For what?
Opening Gonky's mail.
I'm just curious. Well, it says Mike Tyson, so I'm opening Mike Tyson's mail.
Yeah, well, there we go. Check for wires.
Yeah. I've got some my stepmom. I might wear them tonight for the stream. My stepmom got me some pajama pants that are Luna all over it.
Oh, wow.
That's Luna's cool. Face. So it's
what exactly?
It's a Christmas stocking.
Looks like.
And a 2XL sweater.
How big do they think he is? I don't even wear a 2XL.
Yes, Nathan, I got the book that Gonky got. Luna's in here trying to see it.
Somebody caught on quick. That's great, man.
Yeah,
that matches right up with yours.
Yeah. So now he can, instead of bah humbugging. All right, what do we have from the audience here, from the people? Nathan says it's Alec. What's up, Alec? How you doing, man? I just done several interviews. My 2 recent ones, Pearl Harbor survivor. Wow. I'm jealous. An A6 intruder pilot. Well, you know who'd be jealous about that? Wombat. Wombat loves the A6.
A6 is pretty cool.
Yeah. I liked it when I was a wee lad. I'm getting better at it and fun to do. I also got to ride a P-51.
Wow.
Dude, this kid is awesome.
He's getting things done.
Yeah, I'm jealous, man. This kid.
I don't know if I've ever even touched a P-51.
I haven't. Well, I have. They flew one to Bell Chase. I've never been in one. I never got to sit in one. Skid's flown in one.
I worked on a B-17, but that's not the same thing.
Yeah, he did that one in, was it Florida?
Oh, yeah.
That group? Yeah. Welcome, Jamie. Appreciate you being a member. Usually these are members only, but I figured by the end of the year, we'll just, cover everybody. Brian, why are you giving me cheers to fit? You should take that and donate it to Battlescarred. Battlescarred.org. Go donate. Cheers to fantastic 2025 with good health, good company, good times. Looking forward to all the awesome content to come. Thank you. Looking forward to racing with you. We're going to do some iRacing together. Maybe eventually we'll buy an ARCA car once we figure out how and have enough money to be that team that wins. Because, yeah, Alec, dude, that's a pretty incredible. Yeah, you do donate a ton to BSM. That's true. Let's see what else. What else do we have here? I do have some mail from the other one. I don't show these typically because I don't want to dox people. David says, subject 737 reverser, hey mover, re. Oh, by the way, Gonki told us wrong. It's not Jeju, it's Jeju.
Yeah, there were some corrections on that.
There was some corrections. Blame Gonki. I asked him because I thought he knew.
He's the one with the Pacific Rim experience. He should be guiding us.
Right. Anyway, how can a reverser deploy on a 737 with gear up? Doesn't require weight on wheels. It does not. From what I understand, the reason it's changed, it's less than 10 feet on the radar altimeter because of the way it lands fast and tends to float. Wow. It won't squat the switches like when you first touch down. So it gives you that reverser. That's why they added the logic. So an NG will give you reverse. See, I'm doing it left-handed. If you were a captain, you'd be doing it right-handed. But
subtle little hints.
Yeah, subtle hints that I'm just
hierarchy.
A first star. But yeah, less than 10 feet is what you get. So Harry, which is an awfully British name, becoming a USAF fighter pilot as a UK national. I hope this finds you well. I'm writing to ask about the process of becoming a fighter pilot within the USAF. God, this is such a common question we get. I'm 18, currently living in the UK as a British citizen. It is my desire to become a pilot for the military, especially as a fighter pilot, to become one of the best of the best. I was wondering what the process would be in order to gain citizenship, fly for the U.S., time process it would take, and get chances of it actually happening. Also, hoping to undertake LASIK surgery for my eyes or outside the limits of standards. Would this affect my application negatively even if the surgery was a success? Furthermore, I'm planning to gain an aeronautical engineering degree, become a solo glider pilot, even earn my PPL. I'm in the Royal Air Force Air Cadets, similar to the Civil Air Patrol, and have achieved many qualifications and successes. Evidently, I wish to fly and fight for my own country that I love. However, I was going to ask, I'm glad we got to this. In the case that this may not be possible due to so few pilots being selected and actually graduating with the process taking between 4 to 7 years from officer training to flying training and OCU, the United States looks to be the best choice. Any advice? Extremely helpful. This is a career desire. I want more than anything. Open-minded, flexible, willing to nerd. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of quals.
That's a... Yeah. Wow. So... honestly, I think it's going to take you the same time, like the 4 to 7 years. It's probably because you got to get your citizenship, which the quickest way to that is probably going to be joining the military here, like enlisting and then doing it that way. I don't know. You're going to have to gain citizenship to become an officer. Get your PPL. You're going to have to compete against everybody else. That's a tough one. That sucks that you can't for your own country, because I really think your prime directive should be to fly, fight, and win for your country. That's just me, though. The LASIK thing, just make sure you look at the standards and do it within whatever the current standards are, so you don't do the wrong thing. Corvette World Rob says, Happy New Year. And Happy New Year, Corvette World Rob, to you. I finally got the mud guards or splash guards put on the back of the C8. I had to take the wheels off. That is a pain.
Yeah.
That was not, there's no room. There's no space back there.
Not a lot of space in those wheel wells.
No. So I got that set up, and the temp tag expired today. So I'll be riding dirty if I drive it.
Did you order a vanity plate?
I got to wait till the new plate comes in, and then you got to do it.
Oh, man.
State of Louisiana gets their money.
Wow. So they sell you 2 plates no matter what.
They sell you 2 plates. You can't skip the process, as far as I know. King Dragon says, Hi, Mover and Doug. Great show here, and the Mover and Grocky show. Looking forward to New Year. Do you have plans for new Corvette track or autocross? Track, yes. Autocross, probably not. Autocross seems like a waste for the Cup 2Rs.
Pretty fun.
For Cup 2Rs, though, like for the 3,000 miles those things are going to last, I need to get every ounce of track time.
7 hours of autocross.
Yeah, that I need, because it'll be 1,500 miles before I can even track it. So
I autocrossed a C6 Grand Sport, and it was a riot.
Oh, I bet this thing would be fun. It's very nimble. All right, so we got to get to the green comments, Doug. Don't forget the green ones. Those are our people.
I thought they auto starred.
No, not the green ones. Not on this one.
Oh, okay. I'll go back.
Aaron says it's more natural to throttle with your left hand the way God intended. That is 100% correct.
Your right foot.
Laura says, when is the new book coming out in 2025? You know what? Since y'all are here, dude, why don't we reveal the cover right now? How do you feel about that? You want to do that?
I really like this book, so I'm all for it.
As soon as we finish this, I'm going to write the next chapter. For those that don't know, Doug is my prime beta reader since day one. And Doug, I can't thank you enough, to be honest with you. Like, my writing career is probably 69% a result of the fact that you didn't say it sucked. So,
I did when it did.
Have you ever? I don't remember you ever saying it was bad.
Well, I'm good at my job.
Oh, geez, thanks. Hold on, I got to find the cover.
I've steered you without throttling you.
Yeah, I'd have quit. I'd have just said no.
Well, I have said that you got better as you went along, so the implication is there.
Which cover did we land on? It's probably this one.
It's going to be now.
Well, it's subject to change. This is beta.
You commit to it.
This is beta. All right, here we go. I'm going to read the blurb first and then present the cover. And then we'll set it up for pre-ordering at some point. I need to do that. So
that'll give you motivation to finish it.
Well, it's in the final editing thing, Oh
yeah, I keep forgetting that we're talking about 2 different books.
Yeah, you're talking about book 2. I still have to get book 1 out. What did I do with that?
Bob says we need a fanfare. Do we have a fanfare in the media assets?
Play the bad news.
Bad news.
I love it. Oh, God. It's so cool. Bad news. And now I can't stop saying that.
Yeah, it's so appropriate so often.
Yeah, especially when we're playing Ready or Not. So if you guys aren't following me on Twitch, you should, because we stream roughly at 7:30 when we do. Central
roughly
time?
at some time between 6:45 and 7:45.
Yeah, it's never really. Okay. Here we go. Back. Yeah. An alien object crashes into the ocean, revealing secrets that could change the fate of humanity. From the depths of Earth's waters to the vastness of space, a team of pilots, scientists, and a time-displaced AI must navigate the unknown. They uncover an ancient weapon, face interstellar threats, and grapple with the possibility of Earth's destruction. In a race against time and adversaries from beyond, can they harness this technology for humanity's survival, or will they unleash an apocalypse? Join our heroes in a high-stakes journey where every decision could be the last. Project Virtus. Unravel the mysteries, secure the future, or witness the end. There it is.
You got a tagline in there. Unravel the
sure
mysteries,
do.
secure the future.
Yeah. That will be the new book of 2025.
I like science fiction, so I've been hanging on every chapter.
Yeah. So that is book 1. I've started on book 2 already. Very slowly. I used to be able to write a book in 60 days, wasn't it? About 2 months, 2 to 3 months. But that was when I did not have the distractions. And that's my New Year's resolution. I'm going to get rid of the distractions of replying to every comment, which I can't stop. But when I did not have the distractions of YouTube, I could crank out a book, so to speak, in about 2 months. So now I need to get back to that. But so the plan, book plan, for those of you that actually read my stuff, that's book 1. Book 2 is about, I don't know, 40,000 words already. I don't know if that's half, a little less than half. So it's getting there. It may be a very long book. And then there's book 3. So right now I've got 3 books planned for the sci-fi series. Then I want to go back to the Alex Shepard / Spectre series and write a book. My idea for that one, and I can release this because it's who cares. I wanted to write it at least starting from the perspective of a U.S. Marshal. So I wanted to have like that kind of cool new character. Because, you know, if you guys remember at the end of the last book, it kind of left on a cliffhanger and we didn't really know what was going to happen. So I wanted to like go back, recap some stuff and tell it through the perspective of a U.S. Marshal and then rejoin all the storylines to one. So I'm going to do that eventually. But my priority right now is the sci-fi book because it's new characters. It's 2 characters, at least that carry over primarily. Named one of them after Luna, who's still right here. You can't see her. And she's an F-16 pilot. So Luna, and then Dusty, who is a sheriff's helicopter pilot, or he was. And he's a former SWAT guy and stuff. So he's kind of got that badass attribute to him.
He's also kind of a goof too, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a golden retriever some of the time.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, that's the book reveal. That's the plan for 2025. I will soon announce it for pre-order. The reason it's taken so long, because that book has been done, God, 6 months maybe? When did I finish that book? It's been a long time.
I don't know, because they blended in my mind.
Right, because I've been writing the other book for a really long time too now.
You finished it. It might have been early this year.
Yeah, because I've been debating on what I'm going to do as far as self-publishing through traditional publishing. I sent out exactly 1 query letter, and I haven't heard back, so I'm like, I'm just going to do it myself. To me, the self-publishing versus traditional publishing, the only benefit of traditional publishing would be if it's a major, like Penguin Books or something, Penguin Random House or something, major, you know, big advance, all that stuff. Otherwise, with the size of this channel and the Mover and Gonki show and all that stuff, and the level of control you get when you self-publish, I'm not sure that there is any benefit that I would get. So, plus it'll be a lot faster. You can get a book to market a lot faster when you self-publish. So
big time.
That's that. We got Mary. Welcome, Mary. Thank you for joining us today. What is Movers' go-to New Year's Eve outfit? Pajamas?
It's past bedtime.
Yeah. What do you mean? What else do you have? Let's see. Next year, invite Mace Casmo. Mace, Casmo, and Wombat for a live stream. I guess I could have. They're busy people, though. So Alex says, I haven't gotten up yet. Dad and Mom said, wait a little more, but Dad said he uploaded videos on his profile here. Cool. So Luna's she's not bad. So Jay said to calm Luna down, interior room with white noise, rain noise helped. Yeah, I mean, she's not bad. I think she keys in on me getting like aggravated. And then it kind of freaks her out a little bit. So we do have a white noise plan though. So it should be good. What's the vanity plate going to be, Doug?
Oh man, I don't remember it exactly. It's Luna Bell.
Luna Z.
Luna Z? Okay, I didn't see that one. I think the one you showed me was Luna Bell.
Yeah.
Was it like LUNABLL or?
Yeah, it doesn't work if you do it that way though.
Yeah.
There's not enough room.
So you can put her whole name in Z. That works.
Okay, what is backwards?
Yeah, I think that was contemporaneous with the throttle, but it didn't make sense.
Fair. I hear the Cup 2 does not get the heat to perform well in autocross. When you go to a Spring Mountain, they do not run the Cup 2s on the autocross. They run the what are they called? It's not the Super Sports. They run the Super Sports for autocross day, and then they switch to Cup 2s for the actual track. Paul says, class of 69. Happy New Year to the crew. Damn. Awesome. I like your hat, too.
It's a good hat.
Hawkeye. So, yeah. All right. So I guess I'm catching up here. Breaking news. Well done, Doug. Hawkeye Laura is on the YouTube channel right now. Mover, I'll ask my wife who works for a company that does title work for most of the dealerships across the country, see if they got your work and see what they can do about that plate. Oh, cool. I just thought you had to get the regular plate first. Mover, do you hire a professional editor for your books now, or do you do it yourself? I don't do it myself. I have editors. Doug is a big part of the editing process.
Well, I was. I'm really not doing it much anymore.
Yeah. But actually, it's off at an editor right now. An actual like editing service for the final thing, which is when it'll be available. Once I know like it's going to be ready, then I'll put the 2 or 3 month pre-order thing up. So here's the thing about the books too. Today is the last day to get any of my books at the low price. Because one of the things I found out, and I hate doing this, right? Because you have that imposter syndrome and you're like, my books aren't good enough to warrant full price. I was buying The Expanse books, and I'm like, why are all of these $12?
Yeah.
And then I start looking and everything's $12. Like nothing is below the $9.99, $7.99. I mean, most of my books are like $2.99 and $3.99. And I started doing some research, and apparently people associate quality with price. So if you leave low price, quality, and all that stuff, and so I'm going to try it, go back to a normal price as if I'm an actual writer, which I am, 12 books into it.
That's a known marketing thing. You can limit supply, or you can raise the price and give the impression of quality or scarcity.
Well, so the new book, my plan with the new book is the pre-order price is going to be on sale. So if you pre-order the book, you'll get it cheaper than when it comes out. When it comes out, it'll go normal price. But the plan is to kind of have that buffer for pre-order, you know, because why would you pre-order a book otherwise? Like when people buy stuff like pre-order games, there's no scarcity. You get it day one, you get it day one. So, but no, I don't have an agent. Didn't do that. I will have to find somebody to do the audiobook. Zippy, welcome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Rich is my hero, so he thinks that sounds like a good book. Laura loves the cover, right? That's a good thing?
That's a good thing.
Okay.
Hatchet's doxing me in the chat.
Hatchet, stop that. Ban him.
I'm not going to ban him. I'm going to show it if I can catch it.
If he doesn't want to show up and play games with us because of lifetime, then he doesn't get to be mean to you.
Yeah, we've been dying.
Bad News said about 3 or 4 times a game, not counting it.
Here, I got one.
He didn't put the apostrophe there.
Well, he was in a hurry. He was on 2 different channels.
Oh my God. Hatchet of Bro Bridge. Mover of Mandeville. Let's see. I think the Boeing test pilots are turning into science. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, 7-day
mission. It wasn't funny that it happened, but Walter's comment was funny.
Yeah. Dag says, I've read that Robert Heinlein would sit down once a year and write for 24 hours. I could never do that. I used to be a lot better. I think 69% of my problem is YouTube right now, because I'm so wired to get feedback from people that I can't stop checking it.
That's a good point. Because I've been trying to talk you out of it, but that makes a lot of sense.
It becomes a thing, right? Because every time I put a new video out, there's a new batch of feedback, and I want to make sure I'm doing this right. But then the feedback gets negative, but it's stupid negative. It's not constructive negative. It's just stupid people. So then I'm like, well, you're wrong. Because that's the other side of it.
Dunning-Kruger, low end of the curve all day.
Yeah, so you got to tell them they're wrong, and it's just a waste of time. Gonky, I wish I could be a golden retriever like Gonky, because he's like, I don't look at the comments.
Out of telling people that they're wrong on the internet, you'll never want for work.
He never looks at the comment. He doesn't care. He's like, all I ever look at is how many views it's getting and whether it's doing well. Nathan says, I post the link, or Alec, I post the links. Dad helped me in the chat. I also interviewed a survivor. Kate says a series with a U.S. Marshal perspective is very interesting. I think it could be. I think a U.S. Marshal, like trying to understand characters like Kruger, for example, which may be a spoiler, or Alex Shepard, for example. You know? Iron Man says, imagine a book to movie scenario, especially one that gets the details of flying correct. Of my books right now, the best chance is Absolute Vengeance to become a movie. So that would probably not get a lot of flying in it, but if that does well, then potentially. Mace says, Doug is not an AI. News to me, he lives.
Do I sound like an news? AI? Wow. I play video games like an AI. I get accused of that all the time. You're a bot.
Yeah. So the sci-fi book's got a lot of aviation in it. It's got the F-16 stuff.
Yeah, you did something a lot like your first book, where the lead-in was all F-16 stuff.
I'm a one-trick pony, dude. It doesn't matter what I write. It's going to be some form of a thriller. It's going to have short chapters. It's going to have not much flowery descriptive stuff, and it's going to have action.
But having read bad technical fiction, it's really fun to read the flying stuff, because you get it right.
Yeah.
I've caught errors even with my limited knowledge. I've caught errors in aviation scenes in movies and in books, and gun stuff just drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, it's like the first time I read Lee Child, and it was.
I remember that because it was my suggestion, and you're like, this guy
has no idea. This is what it's reading what somebody from the UK thinks guns should be like. Is no idea. It's just clueless. Does the Marshal drive a Lincoln Town Car? No, but inspired by that very concept, though. Although the latest one wasn't that good. Did you like that? Did you watch
I couldn't even
Justify?
I couldn't get past about the first 45 minutes.
The Detroit one was not good. Happy New Year from Denmark, King of Metric. Oh, man. So Luna gets to fly F-16s. That's awesome. What's her G tolerance? Right now, she's G-locked. She's on the ground, G-locked right next to me. Uh-oh. No? Okay, she's not up. Chief Truck Monkey. Pancakes and pickles. Oh.
Trunk monkey stuff goes back a ways on the YouTubes.
I've been waiting for a next Alex Shepard book. So that would be a next Alex Shepard book, the U.S. Marshal thing. But I'm trying very hard to make it a film. Like, that is, to me, that's the best chance we got. That would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Andy says, have you written a dogfight? I'm looking to write a chapter in my book where a dogfight happens. I don't want to steal, but get ideas for an original idea to write a dogfight myself. Avoid, negotiate, kill. There's a dogfight with the A-29 versus a MiG-21.
Yep. That's what I was going to suggest.
There's a couple of them. There's a couple throughout the series. There's the MiG-29 versus the F-16 at the end of Spectre Rising.
I really like the one. Is that A-29? Is that a Tucano?
Mm-hmm.
I'm remembering right. Yeah, I really like that because that is such a contrived idea, but you made it work.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's also at the same time realistic because that's the kind of thing that might actually.
Well, the Pakistanis just shot down a light attack aircraft by the Taliban.
A Tucano.
Yeah. Was it a Tucano? I didn't know.
Was it a Tucano or a Pilatus?
I just heard it was light attack. I didn't hear what it was.
I think it was an A-29.
Oh, wow. Bob says $12 is nothing nowadays. It's more for a Happy Meal. If you get more, charge it. Yeah. Jet Scale Models. So like I said, bought your first book there. Also purchased Wombats. Wombats are very good too. The difference is his books are short. Wombat writes very short books, which are very good. You feel accomplished because you read them very quickly because they're so good.
I am ashamed to say I have not read his books yet. I need to.
Zardra says, Laura, you better love the cover after all those changes. So in our Discord, which members of the higher tier get to be in part of the Discord, it was a process. We went through a couple iterations of that before we finally settled on that cover. And Laura says, I try not to read the comments, but I'll fight with people. Yeah, it's tough because you want to be engaged and not be one of those people that just fire and forget. But then you get wrapped up in it and you never stop. And like, I got this personality. I want updates. I want feedback. I want to know how things are going. I want to be able to course correct if I need to.
The problem I have with it, my dad pointed this out to me, is I'm used to coming into those kind of discussions with a whole lot of credibility, right? I'm a college professor. People bring things up with me in class or in context. And it's like, okay, listen to me. You already know I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
On a given subject. And I got into a Facebook debate with a woman about serial killers, which, I know quite a lot about.
Right.
And she's just like saying all this random
Not
nonsense.
Because you're a serial killer, by the way,
no.
to clarify. Yeah.
It's my training. And she's like saying all this random nonsense. I'm saying, no, you're wrong. And she's like, I'm not wrong. It's like, we need to stop talking about this because it's just.
Well, dude, the video with the 737, people were like, the beardy guy needs to stop talking and let the expert speak. And it's like, I am the expert. I'm the only one who flew a 737.
I got such a kick out of that. Let the Airbus guys talk.
What? Yeah. Dardo. Mover in light of recent events in commercial aviation the last 6 to 9 weeks. Do you think we just hit a statistically rare chain of events, or do you think it's foul play? Doug, you know stats better than anybody.
Yeah, you said that in so many words on the last show. It's just, if you watched a long enough trend, you're going to get spikes.
I think it's, media keys in on stuff too.
Yeah, that's true too. That's a really good point. That the trend of coverage is not necessarily the same as the trend of events.
Yeah, just like the drone thing. Have you heard about drones lately? No, because it's been overcome by events. It always is.
Yep.
Kate says we all envision Absolute Vengeance becoming a movie. Who do you picture playing Alex Shepard? I'll leave that to the chat. Jet Scale Models says, who are your favorite comedians?
Does Jared Kiso count?
I don't know who that is.
Guy that wrote Letterkenny and Shoresy.
Sure, we'll go with that.
And played the lead characters.
Jay says a badass mofo sheriff's military dog book instant movie. I Am the Sheepdog. I Am the Sheepdog, and then N.O. Justice.
Yep.
The sequel to that. I mean, Alex Shepard had a dog. Although in the movie, I would replace the dog with Luna. Just for the lulls. I mean, there shouldn't be a hammer locking sound for the Glock, or the ones that are like the safety. I flicked the safety off of my Glock. Yeah. Some Glocks do have safeties though.
Off my revolver.
Yeah, dude, I want a staccato now, man. I am such a victim of advertisement. The local gun range is like, we just got staccatos in stock, and I'm like, oh, I want one. I need that.
I was watching a movie the other night and got a wild hair to get a Tokarev.
JC the Music Man, Chat GPT is familiar with your work, but has you listed as a former military officer. Is this true, or did I miss something? Nah, it's not true. It's just like they said, I'm a retired airline guy, although judging by this, anybody could guess. That's probably why people think that I'm the guy who...
Right, you're not clean shaven. You couldn't possibly be a pilot.
This is called wide body pilot.
That's another thing about arguing with people on the internet, is they assume so much.
John says it's like me watching The Rookie or other cop shows. The Rookie was good for one season, and then it just went completely off the rails. Oh, there you go, Busmaster. You just shave. Look like one of those guys who comes out of the woods and kills people.
Could be talking to me. I'm from the woods.
Who's he talking to?
I'm from the woods, and I'm here to help.
Do you pilot use smartwatches? Yes. Best thing I ever got. Gavin says, Mover, I've been watching you for the past 7 years and started at a regional this year. Hell yeah, man.
Neat.
As a teenager, you inspired me getting into aviation and growing as a person in general. Thank you. Make them tell you no, dude. Works. Bob says, U.S. Marshals, all I hear in my head is Tommy Lee Jones saying something like, check every hen house, outhouse, dog house. Tom Cruise trying to get CW to Daytona could be the next Days of Thunder, right? Look, I'm just saying it behooved ARCA to put me in, because 2 years ago they had Frankie Muniz, and you know how that turned out. And then they had Shane Van Gisbergen, and that was his first thing. I would have been the first fighter pilot in ARCA, and the only one. I don't know if I'd been. I know they had one in the what do they call it back? They used to call it the Bush series, but the Xfinity series back in the 90s. But they haven't had one in ARCA, to my knowledge. It could have been a good rah-rah, ARCA,
There's so many angles.
They could have marketed the crap out of that. But no. What do they want? Short track experience. You know what Bobby said? What does short track have to do with a 2.5 mile super speedway?
Well, it's a pretty good question from somebody who knows what questions to ask.
He's a 7-time winner. I think he knows. I think I know. I mean, it reminds me of the time we did the flyby over Atlanta, and Brad Keselowski was the winner, and they had us up there with the Monster Energy girls, with the trophy. And he gets the trophy and he turns around and Gono's like, you think you're fast? We just did 500 knots over this stadium. And the guy just looked at him like, what? It's like, Gono. Okay, man. It was funny as hell, though. I love Gono. He's such a good dude.
He seems like a really just all around solid dude.
He's an awesome dude. He did that interview with that guy in all Spanish.
Cool.
Submit your book to Taylor Sheridan. Everything he touches right now. No kidding. He really does. I started watching Landman last night, and it's pretty good, too.
Yeah, but you got to decide ahead of time which White Knight character he's going to play that rides in to save the day 2/3 of the way through the series.
He can be Kruger.
There you go. That'll appeal to him.
Yeah. Can he grow a beard and turn it red?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's all he needs to be. Warpy's Warpstone, thank you, says, Happy New Year, Mover. Watching from New Zealand, where it's already 2025. How's 2025 looking? Love your content, Gas. Keep up the good work. Your new book sounds awesome. I love your First Contact sci-fi stories. Look forward to an audiobook version. Oh, I love he doesn't know about mine yet, but he will. He will. This is definitely a first. Would you call it a First Contact?
What's that?
It's a First Contact story. Project Virtus.
Is it, though?
Yeah.
Because there's Well, no, I can't. It would be spoilers to discuss why I think that might not exactly be true.
At the end.
It is, but is it for those characters?
I don't know. It's trippy.
I mean, there was a first contact, but
anyway, I think Sam is foul play.
Sorry, I had to grab that one.
Yeah, I don't know what it means, but
no, we were talking about whether it was a spike in the statistics for foul play. He said Sam's are foul play.
Andy says, I don't know what would have possessed someone to accuse Mover of being. Somebody's accused me of being a janitor in the military, not a pilot. Well, okay. It's the beard, dude. People do not understand.
Yeah.
Let's see. Luna Wolf is the sequel to Airwolf. Working on something for that.
This is true.
Chat GPT is only correct about 80% of the time. Grok is correct too sometimes. According to Chat GPT, Alex Shepard would best be portrayed by Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Jake Gyllenhaal, Miles Teller, or Scott Eastwood. And then that's not bad. Happy New Year from guys from the UK. I only found this channel a couple weeks ago. Became a big fan, even though I'm not an aviation nut. Well, that's cool. Zippy says, look at it this way, gents. When you get a question on the internet, it's probably by people that put summer air in their tires.
Yeah.
Tom says, Mover ruined Southland. Southland is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a really good show. Maybe a couple things, but for the most part, Days of Thunder is one of my favorite racing movies. Mine too. I bought it. NASCAR ARCA claim to be pro-military and veteran, yet they give you gibberish as a means to keep you out. Seriously, I don't want to turn any of this into anti-establishment ARCA NASCAR. They have their reasons. I don't agree with them. I know that I would be competent on the track. I think everybody who knows me knows that, but they don't know me. And in their mind, the only way they can know me is if I go get in an ARCA car on an unrelated short track. And I get it because, you know, what was the race? Was it Bristol where that guy showed up and he had a Michigan set up for his car and he was doing like 45 miles an hour around the track and they had the black flag him? Like, I get it. They get a smattering of dumb people. But my argument is and will be and has been, I did a successful test in 2022. I think if I had done a successful test in January, which is there's one in January we were planning on going to, if I could do those two tests, plus the experience I have on road courses and stuff, because I've raced at Daytona, I think they could have made criteria that would have allowed me under the mentorship and guidance of Bobby, who's a 7-time veteran. I think they could have allowed me to do it. That's my argument. I mean, Doug, do you disagree with that?
No.
I mean, I don't think that's unreasonable.
And it would fit within the rules that they've set up. And, you know, just the test by itself, there were people who screwed up at that test. It's not like it's an automatic thing where you just go out there and do well at the test. We watched people below it.
Yeah.
It's actually diagnostic of something.
Right. And if they, that's why it's called a test, right? If I go out and demonstrate, I mean, let's be honest. I've got a ton of experience going really fast, really close to other vehicles. It's not like, I mean, they could have tested the criteria they wanted and we could have set it up. I don't think a short track has, because short track is totally different racing. It is completely different racing.
Yeah, that puzzles me too.
I mean, because I asked the question too. I'm like, does a road course count? Because if we're just doing willy-nilly whatever kind of racing, you know, why doesn't a road course count? Because a road course is much harder. I mean, I've been on Daytona with 120 other cars. So that's traffic.
On the banking.
Yeah, on the banking. Hey, Mover, when are you going to ruin Stroker Ace movie for me? What is that?
It's an old NASCAR movie, I think. Is that Burt Reynolds?
Yeah.
I can Google it. There's a really good old Paul Newman racing movie too.
Oh, cool. Did you date one of the Monster Energy girls at the race? Have you seen me? No. No. They would have gone for Gonky. He was there, but he's married, so they did not.
Stroke race is Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson. I bet you could ruin that.
Maybe so. Gavin says, is the wide body flying more sustainable than narrow body domestic? I don't know.
Wow, that's a very specific question.
I don't know. Mover and Gonky is Walker, Texas Ranger, and a new Talladega Nights sequel where the two of them shake and bake their way through the season to continue their father's legacy. There we go. Portrayed by Mover. Finally, somebody got to it.
Somebody figured it out.
Yeah, somebody figured it out. Janitor is probably a GS6 with weekends off. Remember, Janitor is back? He's a good dude, though. Corey Stratton says, still laughing at your comment from the live that the Hornet pilot that barely missed getting hit by the Gettysburg must have been like Cougar trying to land. Hilarious.
God, there's so many jokes for that.
Every now and then I get lucky and say something funny. How cool will it be for C.W. Lemoyne to be the stunt pilot in the movie? Or in the movie, I don't know. Barry says, I've read the Spectre series, enjoyed them a lot. I've got Alex Shepard in queue to read after I finish the latest Tom Clancy book. What is Wombat's book title? Treason Flight and Vengeance Flight. Hawkeye says, I just think they should tell a straight report. That's all I'm asking. I mean, that, and I really think that it should be better. I agree. Southland is actually pretty good. It's up there with the movie End of Watch for representation of Patrol Live. I've never seen End of Watch, actually.
I haven't either. Now I need to watch it.
Yeah. Tom, good Lord, Tom. Thank you. Mover, I followed you for a while now. Have an awesome 2025. Onwards and upwards. Thank you, Tom. Jesus, thank you. Just logged on. Who's the guest? This is Doug.
Yeah,
he's the producer for the Mover and Gonky show. But you've been a staple, dude, since 2018. Your first appearance was when we went into the DCS thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on your channel as long as you've had a channel, pretty much.
Yeah.
If we're going to do me on camera more often, though, I need to move my camera because this one makes me look narrow.
So to speak. We're not doing you on camera.
All right. Careful. Are we still doing phrasing?
Phrasing. Bob says, oh, that's for Bob.
No, I put that one up there because Barney Miller, my dad was a cop for 23 years. And I always used to ask him, like, what's the best cop show on TV, Dad? And then we'd watch Barney Miller. And he said, that's it. Those are guys to know how cops act.
Bell 429. What a beautiful helicopter.
Yeah, it is.
I'd love to fly one. Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office has a Bell 429.
Wow.
My buddy sends me pictures and selfies from him flying it, them doing like fast roping and stuff out the thing. He's just on autopilot. Like, he wears headsets. He didn't even wear a helmet anymore. Like, because the thing's air conditioned and nice.
Just push the button.
Yeah. It's so Gucci, man. It's twin engine. I mean,
that's great.
God, you're going to make me defend this. Why doesn't the U.S. scrap Fat Amy? Because it's a good jet. Damn it. You made me say it. Stroker Ace has cameos by Dale Sr., Neil Bonnet, and a few other drivers from the early 80s. Damn, that does sound cool. What do y'all think of the Lioness TV show? Season 1 is excellent. Very good. And the realism is pretty good too. Season 2 jumps the shark a little. It's entertaining as all get out. Even season 2 at the end. Like, I enjoyed it as I'm entertained. The technical details kind of go all over the place, especially when it comes to aviation. For example, Doug, did you finish the season yet?
I haven't even started season 2.
There's a close air support scene with Raptors.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And there's a line in there that's like, you flew Apaches. That means you can fly any lesser aircraft, right? It's like,
any lesser aircraft.
Yeah. It's like, no. Who wrote this? Don't. No. Call me. Talk to me. I'll tell you. I'm not even Army, and I know this is wrong. We're not doing you on camera for legal reasons. This is a joke.
Whoops.
Wiki Dolly says, and thank you, Rosie's reply. Happy almost New Year. Been watching your channel for a few years and want to thank you for all your hard work. I was wondering if you've ever heard of the aviation comic series called Buck Danny. No, I have not. I'm not very cultured.
Neither me.
Leaving normal. Happy New Year from the Twitch side. By the way, tonight, 8:30 Eastern-ish, we're doing iRacing from the DOF reality system. And I got it fixed. A lot of people watched
that was
before. Maybe somebody knows. So I just picked the random settings and started moving sliders and stuff. And it felt like I was like driving on the roughest road on the history of the planet. And I could not figure out why. And I did the stream. I got off the stream. I started practicing and I started just turning sliders like full up, off until I found the one thing. And it was wheel slip skid or something like that. That was the thing that was the problem. So then I found a website, thanks to Mark, that has setups for iRacing. And it says, and I guess I'd missed this note. It says that as of 2020, iRacing telemetry does not send wheel slip skid out. It doesn't send that telemetry. So that game does not have that. So that's probably why it was just sending bad data and shaking the sim. But it says in that little quotation, or not parentheses, it says needs to check for 2023. So I don't know if anybody knows in iRacing whether that's there, but my assumption is no, just based on the fact that when I turned it off, it got a lot better. And when it was on, it was pretty awful.
Yeah, if it was doing anything, it wasn't doing anything that makes sense, which makes me wonder, because I'm using that telemetry for my rumblers, and they don't seem to help much. I need to check that from my end, too.
Are you using the same program? Are you using
no, I'm using
SimRacing Studio?
I'm using SimHub.
Well, SimHub may not use it. It may know.
Yeah. Unknown.
John's favorite show is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Gotta love a detective making suspects sing "Tell Me Why" in a lineup. I loved Brooklyn Nine-Nine until the last season. It got a little weird, but that was during the apology tour for all of law enforcement shows. So that
we've been through so many of those cycles since the 70s.
A great future health corner topic would be VA claims. That's not really a mental health minute, but we can talk about taking care of yourself within the limits of keeping your medical. I mean, that is valid. Plain Rapper says, Happy New Year's. Dude, I thought that was Ecto 1.
That is such that car that he has is so cool.
I just glanced at it. I'm like, that's Ecto 1. But
yeah, I know. See, that's dating us, because I looked at it and I thought it was a Bob Sharp car.
Happy New Year, guys. The sun is just coming up for day one in 2025 here in Australia. Hell yeah.
It's the Australian equivalent of a Bob Sharp car.
Mover, if invited, would you go on the Sean Ryan show? Sure. I go to any show. What class are you in iRacing? What class am I in? I got all the licenses.
I think we're both A and oval.
Yeah. A and oval, and
my I rating went in the turlet.
Yeah, my I rating hasn't been good. Laura says, Mover, you going to model your Luna PJ pants? If I could find them, yes. I don't know where I put them after I washed them. Bell 429, what do you think of the EX? You can't spell sex without EX. I think it's awesome. It's a great air. I'd love to fly it personally. I'd love to have 12 AMRAMs and a radar that can see into the future and be able to go pull 9Gs and do Hayaka stuff.
The missile knows when it is, because it knows when it isn't.
Yeah. Jay says, when is Mover starting his beard model Instagram page? I don't know. Happy New Year's Eve. Sean says, we finally get the mysterious Doug for some quality time, so we must be getting close to call signs, Gonky, and Wombat meetings. Absolutely not, dude. 100% not going to happen. Maybe Wombat, but definitely not Gonky. Brian says, although some people have successfully guessed it.
Wombat's up to Wombat, but Gonky is not up to Gonky.
If the Mover Ruins is expanding the racing film 6-pack with Kenny Rogers and stock cars, the really bad Champ Car film Driven.
Oh, yeah, Driven is so bad.
I wanted to do Days of Thunder if I was going to do Daytona, but since I didn't do Daytona, I was like, am I really qualified, even though I know this stuff is wrong?
In Driven, they have a car chase with Champ Cars in the streets, and one of them runs over a manhole cover and sucks the manhole cover up in the air.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The downforce.
That was the one with the pennies, right? That is legit, though, the penny thing.
Yeah, the penny thing is, but the manhole thing is a bit of a stretch.
Could a Viper land on a carrier in an emergency? I did it in DCS, which is obviously
Well, then it's real.
Obviously 100% real. No. With the EX, you can bring a friend along for the ride. No. But they could selfies. That's true. They are good for filming the merge for you. Bob says we can always tell when we're being between drill weekends based on facial growth. Drill weekends and airline stuff. Although I did have an airline trip. I've been sick. The thing I got out of Christmas was a horrible sinus infection that has affected me still to today. I woke up and it's just like sinus pressure. So C7ZR1 versus C8Z06. Too early. It's too early to tell. I think the ZR1 sounds better, like by far. But I only have 150 miles on it, and it won't let me do any of the cool stuff until it gets 500 miles and does the first oil change. So it's too early. It's too early to tell. Dude, did I catch up?
Except that I put in a couple before where you were, or at least one. What in tarnation had a mental health minute suggestion?
Did I answer this? When is the new book coming out in 2025? Probably February or March.
Here, I'll grab the one I know for sure you missed. Hide that one.
This one?
Nope. But yeah, I also started that one.
Yes, there will be more 2025 DCS, especially now that I have the DOF reality. There will be more. WinWing, I am talking to them about their force feedback stick, so that's good. Trying to get their collective, but I think they discontinued it. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
It'd be easier to get.
Yeah, here. Right. Well, they don't want to advertise something they don't sell anymore. What in tarnation says a good mental health minute could be taking the first step. A lot of things we want to do can be daunting, but we need to take the first step and get started. Yeah.
That's a big Mace topic.
Yeah. I Manchester Gonky yesterday because he said he was going to quit by the end of the year.
Yeah.
He actually put a date on it. So
hey, good for him. Making it measurable.
Yep. He will be his own man by the end of the year. Yeah, Dennis, I want to do a video of track comparisons because the PDRs are identical almost with the data. And I can put the Cosworth Toolbox stuff in and compare a lap at New Orleans, like get my best lap in the C8 and the best lap that I did in the 01 and just, here's where it pulled 1.2 Gs versus 1.15 or whatever the differences are. Here's the speeds. My prediction is I think I'm going to be faster lap times in the Z06, partially because I'm better at driving NOLA than I was when I first, like some of it is experience, right? Because I've raced there now. I've done a whole lot more track time. Two, because I care less about balling it up. Not that I want to ball it up, but I'll push it harder than I would a collector car ZR1. And then also, I think that the Cup 2R tires are going to give me an advantage. That's the first part. So I think it's going to be a quicker time. I think the top speeds are going to be lower. And Doug, you and I were talking about this. Mm-hmm. I think the ZR1 on a no-wind day, because it was windy when we did it, I was doing 156. On a no-wind day, I think the ZR1's about 160.
I think so.
I think the C8 Z06 will be 150 to 152. I don't think it's going to be that fast.
Wow.
With all that aero. I just don't. Dude, it's got so much downforce, but I think it's going to be planted.
It's got a lot of horsepower, though.
670?
Versus what, 750 in the ZR1?
755. It was pushing 800 because it was 713 at the wheels. And it's like...
I don't know. I went 154 in a C6, but I don't know how much horsepower it had.
Yeah.
It had a lot of downforce, though.
Latest mental health minute was excellent. Had my son watch it, too, because he's overwhelming himself. Yeah, you got to take small bites at the apple there. Jay says, Mover beats Maverick in a friendly dogfight, then meets Cole Trickle, who takes him racing at Daytona.
P51s.
Hell yeah. Oh, wow. Silver Airways filed bankruptcy. I didn't see that. That does suck. Sorry for those that did it. Jamie says, digging the beard, mate. I also support one, but it's slightly larger and redder. Dude, I would, this would be my default look if I could. It always pisses me off when I have to shave it because it takes this long to get it here. And then I feel like I'm losing my freedom.
Once you get to the point where you don't have to cut it unless you want to, you will want to.
Really?
Trust me.
Okay. Aaron says, I don't blame Gonky. Flying for a living made me hate it. It's just a red ass. Like, that's all I can say. It's not real flying. It's not like 787 is a great example. I enjoy flying the 787, but I'm not a big fan of sleeping on airplanes. And I'm not a big fan of just watching the DME count down the distance, watching the distance click down. And then I'm not a big fan of getting to and from work. Commuting sucks, and I don't want to move to Miami again. Been there. Don't want to do that again.
I think that's something a lot of folks, when they're talking about you doing the airline, don't realize is how much there is before and after you do the flight.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. And I also don't like the lack of flexibility. I don't want to not know what I'm doing 2 months from now, right? Because you don't get your schedule till the 16th of the month prior. So it's very hard to plan stuff long term when you don't know kind of what's I don't have my schedule. Like, I want to go to, I've been invited to speak at, or not really speak, but be a part of the safety symposium at VertiCon in 2025 in Dallas. And they're like, hey, we'd like to put you on there. And I said, well, I don't know. I don't know. I would love to, but I don't know. So let's see here. I went 267. That's metric, dude. 130 miles an hour, 140.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yes, they are post office miles. I drove it to the post office to get Gonky's shirt today. Thank you for Gonky. Okay, now I better understand Gonky stating he doesn't want to fly for a living, and likewise your perspective. So Gonky's different because his job, they don't do overnights, and he only drives an hour to work. But still, I think the point being is that when you do it for somebody else, you don't have that freedom. You don't have that control. Versus, I personally, I was talking about this earlier in the show. I'd love to refurbish Airwolf or a similar TV show thing and go do static displays with the show. Well, that's you doing it because you enjoy it and you have a passion to share your passion.
That's a big difference.
Not super controlled flying, which is 121 flying. More helicopter flights are always welcome. Would be phenomenal to get an interview with a Sea Dragon or Super Stallion pilot. I don't know any of them, but yeah, that'd be cool. Gavin says, my take is if I have to work and earn a living, I'd like to do it in the air. Just pulled into the driveway after a 4-day and a commute home still beats any other job. I mean, absolutely. 100%. My problem is I tasted freedom. Once you taste freedom, dude, it's National Police Association, which I want to thank you for the support that you've given Luna and me, because without National Police Association, the therapy dog program that we've had with the sheriff's office wouldn't exist. And hopefully 2025 leads to more support from our sheriff and the agency. I'm waiting for some decisions to be made, which will decide ultimately where I go, in that direction long term. But I'm hopeful that in 2025, things start out better than they did in 2024. Mover, would you cover Operation Praying Mantis from being proportional with Iran, especially the intruder stuff? Would be gold on the show. Intruder guys actually dive bombing because no one said no. That sounds cool. I don't know anything about that, but that sounds cool. Just about midnight in Istanbul. Is that where you are, Walter? I didn't know that. As an airline military pilot, what are the worst airports to fly into and out of? Oh, God, LaGuardia. So LaGuardia is it's a mixed bag, right? Because doing that visual around the Hudson, around the city at sunset is probably like one of my top 5 major favorite moments in my airline career, because it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Landing at LaGuardia sucks because you go off the end, you're in the water, and short field landing, and the airport itself sucked. I think they've remodeled it since I've been there, so it may be better, but that one's kind of a pain. Planning a mover ruins movies to carry on. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty bad. Like really bad. VFA 1222. Happy New Year. I lurk in all your streams and videos. Thank you for lurking. Love all your content. Hope the next year treats you well. Thank you. Andy says therapy dogs are good for mental health. Luna is outstanding. Doug, you like Luna?
Oh, she's awesome. She's got such a great balance between being a lot of fun and not being crazy.
Yeah.
Which I guess all of us could learn from.
Bell says you can't get a local helicopter job. So depends on what you're talking about. So I guess let's back up for a second. If I'm not working for the airline, I don't want another paid flying job. Like my goal is to write books and do creative stuff like that. Write books, turn them into film, turn them into TV shows, stuff like that. Like that's my long-term goal, and it has been for a while. The airline thing pays great, and if I, for doing something that is a good paycheck that makes a lot of money, absolutely. Helicopter flying jobs do not pay money. And I don't have the qualifications to do the ones that would even come close, which they don't. I mean, helicopter guys, unfortunately, just don't get paid enough. But so I'm not looking for a job. I am flying part-time for Harrison County, but that's not for money. That's just because I want to do a tactical amount of flying in a very cool organization. And I'm very fortunate that they have allowed me to fly. And next week I start finishing, or I finish I get closer to finishing my checkout. How would you rate San Diego landings? I mean, San Diego's no big deal. It's not like Burbank or something. Kate says in May 2025, bring all of you the best beyond your expectations. I'm going to look into volunteering with rescue dogs. Maybe I'll find someone like Luna. That's awesome. Rescue dogs are tough. That's just tough, man. It's tough to see them like that. I wanted to adopt I went and did so after the hurricane, the shelter was overwhelmed because they had gotten so many, and they're like, we have to get rid of some. So I said, okay, well, I'll go do some like a photo shoot with them and post it to social media. I wanted to take them all home, except for like maybe one or two. I wonder if Die Hard 2 is worth the Mover Ruins movies. You talked about LaGuardia, reminded me of Die Hard 2 because it's being a Christmas movie. Yeah, maybe. Awesome. Well, Doug?
Sir.
Bob Hope, yeah, always a steep approach. I think we've done enough today.
Okay.
We said an hour. It's been an hour and a half. Have we covered all of the chats? I think so.
Kate said thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kate. Thank you for being a fan of the channel.
Yeah, she's good for the channel.
And thanks, KC says, according to my mate, is a 777 SFO. San Diego landings are fun. The 777 goes into San Diego? I didn't know that. I didn't know British Airways flies into New Orleans with a 78.
I did not know that either.
That'd be cool. And going back to the airline thing, I think if I were in like Wombat situation where I live in base and can pick up trips and kind of build your own schedule and stuff, that would be a lot better. I just don't want to move. Like, I don't want to move to Dallas. I don't want to move to Miami. I might move to Dallas if I had to, but then you have to buy way more house, to be comparable to what I'm in now, because cost of living is a little bit higher. So then you have to work in order to make enough money to go do that. And the other part to that too is I don't like leaving Luna. I mean, she doesn't get separation anxiety. I do. So anything I can do to bring her with me is awesome. And that's why I enjoy racing, because a lot of places allow her to come with me. Andre says, you're planning on installing a real ejection seat. No, that Sparco seat is awesome.
That's a really nice seat.
That's a really nice seat. Aaron says, I think Doug should challenge Dr. Phil to a road course race.
Challenge him to a lot of things.
A battle of wits.
Challenge
a spelling contest.
To a jury selection resume challenge.
Thomas says, Happy New Year, guys. Have you ever flown into TF Green? I don't know where that is. Hey, Luna. Tomcats. Can you get Luna rated as a relief pilot for the F-787? She'd probably do better than me. Oh, look at your puppy dog. Have you ever landed in YYZ? Is that Montreal? Or is that Vancouver? I always forget the Canadian ones. YYZ is Toronto. No, I was way off. Samsonite. No, I've never been to Toronto. I've been to Montreal and I've been to Vancouver. Vancouver was on my IOE in the 7.3, which, contrary to popular belief, I have flown. And when we were leaving, it was snowing. It was thunder snow. And it was so bad that the tug got stuck. So they had to take a second tug to push the first tug to push us back. It's crazy.
Welcome to Oh, Snow is So Beautiful.
Yeah.
I grew up in
thunder
that crap.
Snow. I'd never heard of thunder snow. Louisiana boy, right? Thunder snow? What the hell is that? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Thunder snow. Daniel, thank you. Cool green car and scooter. Could you, Gonky and company, please do a show at a time for UK watchers, please?
What's that, like 3 a.m. our time?
Yeah, you're going to have to ask Gonky, because Gonky, that's when he's able to put his kids to bed and lock them up so that we can do a show. Providence, Rhode Island. What?
Is that Thomas Green?
Oh, yeah. He was asking the airport. Yeah. Okay. Rinka wants to thank you all for the lovely comments. Please support the Wolf Project if you're looking to rescue a Malinois. Oh, do they have that in Louisiana?
That was a thing.
I'd rescue a Malinois. Dude, it'd be cool. Since the National Police Association's watching, I've always thought about going and getting one of those. The military working dogs sometimes will donate dogs to law enforcement agencies for like drug detection, bomb detection, all that.
Gotcha.
I think it would be cool to do one, and you'll get the training to be a handler and then have both.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Another resource available to local law enforcement, too.
I would really piss off the canine division for sure.
Well, they're already kind of bent.
Yeah, they're all, who cares?
Wolf Project is West Coast.
Mostly West Coast, but we can arrange transport to the thing.
Wow.
Right, so anybody that's interested in this, let me tell you, Belgians are the best dogs on the planet, but you have to be the best handler on the planet. This is not a beginner's dog. Yeah. They're not for people that don't know how to exercise, discipline, and train a dog. Like, they will wear you out before they will ever wear themselves out. That's why they're so good. So anyway, all right. That's it. I
think you're caught up.
I want to wish everybody a happy 2025. I'm thankful for you watching, for being a part of this grand journey. I'm looking forward to 2025 being a great year. I hope there's a lot of stuff that we can share. And I don't know what that'll look like for this channel, but I appreciate the patience and the confidence that, it'll still be good content, because we'll try some new things. We'll try some different things. May post more, may post less. I don't know, but keep watching us here and on the Mover and Gonky Show. Doug, as always, thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you too.
Really appreciate you.
It's been quite an adventure.
Yeah. And I guess we'll see you next year. I guess the next thing will be the show next week. Right?
Sounds good.
All right. Oh, no. The next thing's tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Twitch.tv/MoverCWL. Follow us on Twitch. We'll be doing some iRacing with the DOF Reality H6. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Happy